So I own a piece of digital real estate that makes a measly 600 bucks a month, but I acquired it a couple years ago and I haven't even touched it in 6 months. So I own and co-own several different pieces of digital real estate that cash flow just like this every single month. So in this video, I would like to give you an overview of how to get something like this set up and how to actually build something like this, or how to acquire a property online that can continually cash flow month after month. Unfortunately, there is a lot of confusion on how exactly this entire process works, and so that's what I want to clear up today. The metaverse sucks. And when I'm talking about digital real estate, I am not talking about anything that has to do with the metaverse. The reality is digital real estate has been around a lot longer than the metaverse, like since the inception of the internet. What I mean when I'm talking about digital real estate is websites that continually produce cash flow and also have a valuation tied to them. So this is the same as physical real estate. Physical real estate, when you own it, can cash flow via rent, but it also has a valuation that you could sell that property at any given time. Now, that being said, digital real estate is substantially easier and cheaper to get into than physical real estate, in my opinion. I've looked into both substantially. I used to do a ton of research into physical real estate, and I found that digital real estate is just a lot easier to start. And again, orders of magnitude cheaper. Like I can start a piece of digital real estate for like $100. And even if I wanted to go acquire a piece of digital real estate, which I have done, it's still vastly cheaper than acquiring a piece of physical real estate. So here is how you can do exactly the same. All you need to do is see what is available for sale in the marketplace right now, buy or build a piece of property, and then you passively cash flow that and get the added benefit of appreciation. So that sounds simple enough, but let's actually look into the details. So the first part is to look and see what is for sale on the marketplace. So you can go to sites like flippa.com, empireflippers.com, motioninvest.com, investors.club. There's actually a lot of different brokerage sites out there that are selling pieces of digital real estate, and you can go look and see what they're selling for and how much money they make. A typical valuation for a piece of digital real estate is usually 25 to 40 times the monthly profit. So if a piece of digital real estate is making $1,000 per month, it's probably worth $25,000 to $40,000. Even if you're not in the market to acquire a piece of property, it's still important to look and see what kinds of sites are selling so that you know what kind of site to build. So for example, here on investors.club, I found this one that's in the automotive space, and it is selling for $18,000 and makes $700 per month in revenue. So if you're like me and you want to look at this from a return on investment perspective, this site is making approximately $8,500 per year. And if you bought it for $18,000, that would be almost a 50% ROI year over year. And so you would be able to double your money in 2 years, because in 2 years you will have cash flowed approximately $18,000, and then you can actually sell the site for the same price you paid it for. You actually will probably be able to sell it for more than what you paid it for, but you will be able to effectively double your money in about 2 years. Now, you want to keep in mind something here. If you're investing in the stock market or you're investing in physical real estate, it usually takes a decade or sometimes longer to be able to double the amount of money that you put into an investment. And so this is a much quicker way to do that. It's not uncommon to see sites and pieces of digital real estate that increase in value 30 to 50% per year. Now, if a measly $700 a month isn't enough cash flow for you, you can do what I'm doing, and you can start acquiring different pieces from around the web and build up a portfolio of digital real estate so that maybe I've got 10 different sites that are all producing $700 a month, right? Like the site I talked about earlier, it makes $600 a month, but that's just one of the pieces I have. And so you can do that. You can go the portfolio route, or you can, of course, acquire a larger piece of real estate. So this one is making 40 grand a month and is $2 million. And it's about RVs, right? So that's what the piece of digital real estate is talking about. It's just an RV website that I'm sure reviews and potentially sells RVs. And actually, as I'm looking into this, I realize actually most of the revenue is coming from just display ads and then the rest from affiliate marketing. So they're probably not selling their own RVs. That would be very cumbersome to do. They're just running display ads on their website and making 40 grand a month. And so one thing I want to point out here that you might have seen that's different than the one that we just looked at is this multiple. Okay, this multiple is 49 and this multiple was 25. And the reason for that is this site is a lot older and it makes a lot more money. And so the more money that the site makes and the older that it is, the higher the multiple will be. And when the multiple is just how much it sells for. And for example, this one's 49. So you would take the cash flow, monthly cash flow, multiplied by 49. That's how you get the 2 million. What's interesting is if we took the multiple from this one, which was just 25, and applied it here, this would only be $1 million site. So you can see how having a higher multiple can effectively double the amount of money that you could sell your site for. Now, what if you don't have $2 million to spend on a site, or you don't even have $18,000 to buy one of these sites? Well, that's the beauty of digital real estate, is you can just build your own piece of property. That's not something that you can really do in the physical real estate world, though I suppose you could buy an empty plot and build a house, but that is pretty much the same as buying a piece of property in general. Whereas if you build a piece of digital real estate, you can build digital real estate for like $100 or sometimes even less. You will have to do a lot of the work yourself, but if you don't have any money, that's the way to go. So buying is pretty straightforward. You just look at sites that are for sale and then, buy one that looks good. Okay, but building is a little more involved. But honestly, of all the sites that I own and co-own, I've acquired 3 of them through cash deals where I bought a couple of them flat out. I bought equity percentages in some of them, and then I also worked for equity, so sweat equity in another one. But then all of the rest of my portfolio I actually built from scratch. So I've 15 or 16 sites that I've built totally from scratch that only cost maybe like $100 each to actually get up and start running. To be completely transparent with you, the pieces of real estate that I have purchased or acquired have cash flowed more money than the ones that I've built from scratch. And that's just because the ones that I built are still kind of young. They haven't gotten to the point where they're making thousands and thousands of dollars or even hundreds of dollars per month. But eventually they probably will. And then I'm going to have this huge portfolio of all of these sites that are making all of this money every month. But the point is, when you acquire a site, you get immediate cash flow. When you build a site, it can take months or sometimes years before you get a substantial, consistent income via cash flow from a piece of digital real estate. So how do you go about building an entire piece of digital real estate? Well, it's pretty similar to how you go about buying one. You just look on all these brokerage sites, see what is currently available for sale, and see what they're selling it at. And what you'll see as you look through more and more sites is you'll see a trend, right? There's certain types of sites that are currently being sold and how much they're being sold for. And you look at those sites and you can actually just go to the site map of the site and you can see all of the articles and all of the pieces of content, everything that's on the website, and you just take a note of that, and then you make your own version of that that's pretty much the same thing, and then you grow that and then you sell it. So once you've effectively duplicated the site, obviously not like copy paste or whatever, not just article spinning, but actually just use the sitemap as kind of a topic map, and then create articles and create pieces of content for every point that the other site that's being sold for some large amount of money is currently covering, and then you just knock every single one of these things out. And then you want to use a tool like Ahrefs or SEMrush to look at the backlinks to that site, and then you just contact the people that are linking to them and ask them to link to you as well. And so backlinks are very important because that shows authority. And so that's how people are going to know that your site is legit. That's how Google will know your site is legit, and they'll show you in the search results. And that's how you ultimately get all of the traffic. Now, if you're like me and you don't really want to do a bunch of manual work, you just want to automate everything, what I did is I just wrote a bunch of scripts to do this for me. And I used AI to write all of the content for all of the sites. And then I wrote a script that sends an email to the other sites that are ranking for the same kind of keyword. And it just asks them to link to me too. And so that's completely automated. And I set that up like 6 months ago, and I didn't think it would work very well, but all of these sites are getting more and more traffic week over week. So like I said, I haven't touched this cohort of about 15 sites in 6 months or so. But they're getting in total probably about 200 visitors per day. So that's worth something. Like they definitely have some value there. Now I haven't started cash flowing these properties, right? So these properties are not actually cash flowing any money yet. They could be if I just, would go in there and add it. But I honestly am not sure how I want to monetize them, right? Because I could either just sell them off for probably a few $100s each, or I could add, display ads to them or something like that. But I think I'll probably just sit on them and just wait for a little while longer and see how far they'll continue to grow, and then make a decision down the line. So I've got some of these sites listed in Ahrefs here, and you can see this is a Google Search Console to how much traffic. Some of them aren't getting anything yet because they're still pretty young. Some of them are getting hundreds, some of them are getting thousands. Some of them, but you can see the trend here, right? They're all growing. They're all getting more and more traffic week over week. And so it's like, okay, I guess I'll just hang out with them. I mean, this one's like, flying up. So like, I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what I want to do with them, but I think at the end of the day, I could sell each of them for, a few $100s, and I only spent maybe $50 to spin these up. And so like I could probably get a 5 to 10x ROI in like a 6-month time period. Because if I sold all of the sites together as like a bundle or even just one-offs, I would make, $5,000 to $7,000 if they all sold for a few $100. And, I think I spend in total maybe $750. So yeah, that would be like a, 5 to 10x ROI in about 6 months, which is pretty good. But honestly, I think I'll just let them grow and maybe boot up some more sites and just keep going and see how many I can do, right? Like it doesn't really cost me much to start them up, and then I don't really have to do anything to manage them. AI handles everything. I don't know. We're going to see, right? Maybe I make another video in 6 months and they're all doing way better, or maybe they've all crashed and burned. We will see. But either way, the sites that I've acquired are continuing to make money. The site that's doing $600 a month, I acquired a couple years ago, and I mean, it just continually cranks out money. So like, I don't really do anything. Maybe like a couple times a year, I'll go in there and like fiddle around and optimize stuff, but I don't really do much of anything with it. Now, I have been asked several times in the comments on these types of videos, as well as like direct messages and emails, if I'm going to make a course, or if I already have a course on how to do digital real estate, like have the nitty gritty details of all of the steps that you have to take in order to do it. And I am currently working on it. Me and one of my friends who has even more experience in digital real estate than I do, we're going to do a joint venture. We're going to put together a program that's going to teach you everything about digital real estate. And I also have a free newsletter that I send out every week that I do go into deep dives on stuff like this. So if you're not subscribed to that newsletter, it's free. You can check that on the link in the description. And when I do launch that course, I usually give bonuses and extras to people that are on the newsletter. So just be sure you're on there. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this video and it was a little insightful for you, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.